There's a very famous quote from the German author Goethe, who said, "Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do." I know that resonates a lot with you. Notice how I rhymed there? So tell me more about what it is you do and what your goal is for Maison Magnétique.
Thank you for asking. I looked at myself and I realized that if I'm not happy, I look for happiness. I don't really care about others as long as I'm not happy. So I started Maison Magnétique with the idea that if I can give people something that makes them happy, celebrate life, then they would be in a position to give as well. And I've been in a journey of growth over the last few years. And I have collected a lot of tools, met great mentors, and I think I have a nice toolkit and a nice set of philosophies and psychologies that I think can really push people to different kinds of levels to live their unlimited potential. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm out there trying to meet people, trying to really create the difference in their lives. Because again, I truly believe that all of us are capable of achieving greatness and achieving things that we can't even dream about because of certain limited beliefs that we have. So we need to shatter those belief systems and really model people who have been able to do that in the past. It's not rocket science, but there's a method to it. So I'm here to share my method and to really connect with people, see what works for them and push them across the hurdle to reach growth and reach that stage of giving.
And I'm very excited for your next seminar, having been to your previous one. So what is your vision for this seminar specifically?
All right, so I call this seminar your life architecture. I call this your life architecture is because you are in control of your life, you design your life. And we are living in this age of incredible defocusing targeted tools. So distraction is lurking everywhere in all kinds of forms. And unless you have a very clear outcome of where you want to go in your life, it's very likely you're going to be blown all around like a wind in a storm. And that's exactly what I want to avoid. I am neurodiverse, I have ADD. So, I mean, for me, it's really easy to move in 5 different train of thoughts at the same time.
I get that.
I've also managed to achieve a lot in the past few years by following what I'm trying to share.
By walking the talk.
By walking the talk, yes. So that's the principal idea behind it. I'm going to talk about or take people through an experience of 2 main areas. One is, I call it the microscopic focus, where how do you deal with every moment of your life? Because your life is a combination or a summation of what you're experiencing every moment. So how to take charge of every moment of your life, especially the ones when you're not in a very happy place, when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you're angry, when you're jealous, when you're worried, when you're scared, when you're anxious, right? So how do you deal with those situations? How do you change them immediately so that they do not stay with you? And the second part is the overall bigger planning. Can you really look at your life very independently and see the different areas that really affect your life? When I talk about different areas, I mean, how are you doing with your physical health, right? How's your physical body? Are you happy with it? What's happening in your mind? How's the mental? Is your mental health, which is such an important topic nowadays. And then there is time. Time is such an important factor. How do you manage time? There is, of course, wealth. There's money. Money solves money problems. So it's very important. How do you deal with money and saving? And there's intimate relationship, again, a super important part of our lives. And then, of course, there's growth and giving in other areas. So we really do a deep dive into exactly seeing how we are doing in these areas. And the fun part is, let me ask you a question, right? Let's say, tell me one area of your life that you're really doing well at the moment with.
I would say socially. I'm doing quite well. Yeah.
So socially means you're making
relationships,
friends. How are you doing when it comes to your emotional health? How would you score it out of a 10?
Out of 10, maybe a 7.
A 7. In the area that you're really well, let's say social relationships, meeting people, connections, how would you rate yourself?
Right now, Put it on an 8.
Put on an 8, right? Is there one that's below 5?
One that's below 5.
So managing time, investing, finance, growth and giving.
The giving and the physical health part, I think, are harder to keep above a 5 all the time.
Yeah,
For sure.
I get you. So here's the fun pattern that most of us have is, let's say I am a 8 in, I'm just making this up, right, physical body, and then I am a 5 in emotional health, right? If I'm given more time or more space, more energy to focus on one of these areas, by default I would focus on the area that I'm really good at. And that's the fun part, right?
Okay.
So we tend to focus on the areas we are better at, and so we constantly ignore and neglect the areas that we are not good at, right? And then because life is like a wheel, it creates a lot of friction because there's one part of the wheel that's going really well and the other one is terrible or stuck. So that's where we create this atmosphere with like-minded people. So you would be with a lot of people who either are in the same phase or have been in that phase you are in now. So then what we do is we share ideas and we do some really hands-on exercises that shifts that mindset and stays with you, especially with our triad system.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of challenging and learning critique, like how to take critique from other people. I think it's a big life philosophy of mine to get to know yourself and to grow in that and learn from yourself. And I realized that can look so different to everyone else, even though we're all, sort of in the same system. We're made up of the same things, and still you really need others to reflect the parts to you that you don't see yourself. So tell me more about how these magnetic triads, that you call them.
Right, I'll tell you about the triads, but I also wanted to respond to the first part because it's a very important thing that you said, right? Getting feedback or reflection. So I love this quote. It says that you cannot change something that you cannot confront, and confronting yourself is not easy, and especially if that confrontation comes from somebody else in the form of feedback or in a nice manner or not in a nice manner, then it can really create inhibitions. So you really need to confront what you need to change, which is a very important part of what we are going to do. And talking about the triads, so I came up with this system where I bring 3 people together of partially similar personalities and partially non-similar personalities. I mostly use Myers-Briggs and a bit of Enneagram as well to really find those 3 people or 2 partners for everybody who will be your guiding coalition, who will push you a bit when needed, who will care for you when needed, and with whom you can share your short-term and long-term vision and goals, and then make sure you are on track. So you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So we will measure and we will have clear goals and we'll support each other through these groups. And these groups will also be coached. And then what we see is we are never out of the track. For example, if a plane is taken off and let's say it has to travel 500 miles, and let's say it's out of the exact course by even a very small degree, let's say 10 degrees, after a while it's really out of course. So you really need to keep bringing it back to the right course. So we are going to be very outcome oriented, and outcomes are going to be very specific. We need to know why you want that outcome, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. If you spend 4 years chasing a goal that you really don't want eventually, then what do, right?
Yeah, it's quite a lot of emptiness.
A lot of emptiness.
Yeah.
I love that word that you use. So that's what we do. And as you saw in the last seminar, the diversity of our audience and the perspectives which we got from the people is amazing. We had people from all kinds of all parts of the world in
all
different
kinds of
phases,
ages,
all ages. It was such a beautiful energy. So I hope I can recreate that. And this one is even longer, where I have the right tools and the experience from the last ones. I've got some really good feedback to propel people to the next level.
Wow, I'm really excited for your next seminar now. It's on 11th of October, so everyone is very welcome. Faces who we've already seen, but also new people are very welcome.
Yes, and especially also to the students, we are going to give the students a very big discount, because we understand that you're studying and maybe you're not in the potential inner space where you can spend a lot, but you're very welcome to join us and be part of this journey. You probably will meet a lot of people who are in a different part of their lives. Probably they're doing really well in their careers. So you get a very nice visual on what life looks like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from here on. So I'm really hoping that I can make a difference to your state and to your life in the near term and in the long term future. Thank you very much for having this conversation with me,
Yes,
Gemma.
thank you, Dev. And I'll
Maybe
see you.
before we go, a very short round of introduction, which we never did in the beginning. So,
That's true.
who is Gemma?
I am Gemma, and I'm also a student, and I came to Amsterdam to study anthropology. I'm originally from Germany, have also studied in the US before, and I'm a huge, as much as I study anthropology, I'm a huge philosopher, really. So that's why this is also very intriguing to me. Who are you, Dev?
Thank you. I'm a mysterious person. I was born and brought up in India, and I've been living around the world the last 17, 18 years. I've been in the US for a long time. I was in London for a long time, and then I've been in Amsterdam for 7 years now.
Oh, wow.
I've met thousands of people around the world. I love meeting people and finding out what really works for them, what doesn't. And it's my interest in people that really pushed me to learn more, grow more, learn about personality, psychology, philosophy. And I discovered that there are these patterns that pretty much affect all of us. And these are repeating patterns, same thing. We know that these not serve us, but they get us every time. So how do we break those patterns and create new identities that's going to propel us forward is what I research, because one of the things that we really strive for as humans is being consistent with our standards and with our identities. So if we can shift those identities, then we can really change our lives. So that's also going to be part of that. But in short, I'm a lover of mankind and here to add value to your lives.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
Thank
See you on the 11th.